Hello students, welcome to EPG Parshala. I am Dr. S.P. Sood, retired Associate Professor and Head, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Rajasthan, Jaipur. Today we are discussing module Normative Principles, LIS, Canons and Principles, Part 2, under paper Knowledge Organization Structure, Cataloging. In previous module, module 3, we have studied the meaning and concept of law, canon, principle and their developments in different stages. In this module, canon of recall value, 4 general laws of cataloging and 4 principles of cataloging are discussed. Objectives of the module: to define canon of recall value and discuss its need, implications and relationship with other canons. To define and discuss the general laws of cataloging, that is, laws of interpretation, law of impartiality, law of symmetry and law of parsimony. To define and discuss the principles of cataloging, that is, principle of unity of idea, principle of probability, principle of local variation and principles of osmosis. Canon of recall value. Before defining canon of recall value, first we should learn what is a recall value. The relative potency of a word or word group for being called back to memory by a majority of the readers among the group of words constituting the multi-worded name of an entity in an entry in a catalog. This canon prescribes that in a multi-worded name of a person, government, near sovereign body, quasi-government, institution, conference, organ of government, institution and conference, and in the multi-worded title of a document other than the periodical publication, the entry element is to consist of the word or the word group with the highest recall value. The need of canon of recall value can be divided into following types. First one is increase in the number of corporate bodies. Second, increase in the variety of corporate bodies. Third, near homonymous name. Fourth, multi-wordedness of the names. Fifth, alternative name. Sixth, limitations of the memory of readers. Need of canon of recall value. First need is increase in the number of corporate bodies. The complexity and interdisciplinary character of present-day research and developmental activities require the sponsorship, active support and finance by corporate bodies. An increasingly large number of corporate bodies are being formed to promote education, research and professional activity in an increasingly large number of specialized fields. As per the study based on Word of Learning, the average increase in the number of learned bodies per year is about 1700 on the globe. According to T.S. Rajgopalan's study of research institutions in the natural sciences in India, there were 27 institutions established before 1900. Between 1900 and 1946, 209 institutions came into being. After independence, there has been a steady increase in the number of institutions, and on an average, about 30 new institutions are being added every year. Hence, there is a trend of increasing corporate authorship in the field of science and technology and social sciences. Second need is increase in the variety of corporate bodies. Earlier, only 3 types of corporate bodies were in existence, for example, government, institution and conference. But in recent years, new kinds of corporate bodies have come up, for example, the near sovereign bodies. Prior to World War I, there was hardly any sovereign body producing documents. But in the last 74 years, many such bodies came into existence. The reason of their existence in such as security, economy, and cooperation among the nations. Example of such bodies is NATO, CENTO, OAS, OAU, Council of Europe, SAARC, etc. Some corporate bodies with the names colloquium, tutorial, seminar, workshop, project, program, task force, and consultants, etc., are also comparatively newcomers in the field. All these add to the cataloging problems and difficulties of recall and correct name by the readers. Third need is near homonymous name. Due to rise in the number of institutions and many institutions in the same field, their names are more or less similar or near homonymous. For instance, in international relations alone, there are more than 100 institutions or centers all over the world. For example, Institute of International Relations, School of International Affairs, Royal Institute of International Affairs, Australian Institution of International Affairs, Indian Council of World Affairs. Fourth need is multi-wordedness of names. Earlier, most of the corporate bodies were of one term only, but with the increasing number of corporate bodies, the tendency for multi-wordedness in the names of bodies started growing. According to the study based on Bird of Learning, between 1900 and 1929, 50% bodies were with 1 to 3 words, but now they are increasing. Now 70 to 80% bodies are of more than 3 words. Fifth need is alternative name. A. Alternative name, both names in use currently. For example, Jayakar Granthalaya or Pune University Library, Ratan Tata Library or Library of the Delhi School of Economics. B. Abbreviated name, generally accepted by the readers. For example, ISO, full term is International Standard Organizations. FID, International Federation for Documentation. C. Same abbreviations used for many institutions. For example, ISI is used for Indian Standard Institutions, Indian Statistical Institution, and Institute of Scientific Information. D. Name, usually short, used in small private circles. For example, Elsinore Conference among librarians. And the full name of the conference is International Conference on Classification and Information Retrieval, held at Elsinore, 1964. E. Old name. Many institutions have changed their names and they are known by old as well as new names. For example, IIB is now known as FID. Fifth, variation in the form of citation. References are cited either in articles, bibliographies, or by other persons. There is always variations in their citations. Sometimes references are quoted in text, and there is variation in the title page name. For example, International Federation for Documentation may be quoted as Fédération Internationale de Documentation, which is the French name of the organization. Sixth need is limitation of the memory of readers. Due to above reasons, there is a variety of institutions with number of permutation and combination of terms. It is psychologically impossible for even a specialist in the field to recall or remember the name of these bodies exactly in the order they occur in the title pages of the documents or in citations. In this connection, four contexts can be recognized. A. Readers stating all the components in their correct sequence. B. Readers recall in one or more but not all the words in the name. C. The reader recalling an alternative name. D. The reader conforming between some element in the name of the one with the name of the other. Application of canon of recall value. First, whole government. The entry element will be word or word group indicating the name of territory or area of jurisdiction, for example, name of country or state. There will be no secondary element. For example, India for Government of India. It means for Government of India, the heading would be only India. And China Republic for Government of the Republic of China. Second, whole near sovereign body. Entry element will be word or word group indicating a subject name of the body as whole, and secondary element is rest of the words. Use of dash will be made. United Nations Organization within parenthesis, Europe Council of dash within parentheses. Third, whole quasi-government. Entry element will be word or word group indicating the territory or area of jurisdiction, such as the name of district, taluk, municipality, corporation, panchayat, etc., and no secondary element. For example, Mysore within brackets, district for District Board of Mysore. Mysore within brackets, city for Mysore municipality. Fourth is whole institution. The entry element, word or word group indicating a subject forming the purview of whole institution, for example, National Library India. The word or word group indicating a class of person or persons or a category of corporate bodies forming the purview of the whole institution, for example, International Council of Scientific Unions. The word or word group indicating nature of research, for example, advanced studies, applied research, etc. The word or word group indicating sphere or work, for example, university, college, library, etc. Fanciful words such as a name of person, for example, Poddar School. Secondary element will be the rest of the words. Laboratory within bracket regional research, use of dash is made for the term omitted between the brackets, that is laboratory. Library, national dash India, here also use of dash is made. Art Society of India, whole conference. The entry element is first the word or word group indicating a subject forming the purview of the conference, and second, the word or word group indicating classes of persons forming the purview of the conference, Secondary element will be the rest of the words. The use of dash is made. For example, peace within bracket, conference, second bracket, Paris, third bracket, 1919. Indian residents within bracket, Cape Town, within second bracket, 1958. Organs of the above, that means government. Rajasthan High Court will be rendered as Rajasthan, Court within bracket High. Planning Commission of India will be rendered as India, Planning within bracket Commission. Finance Commission of India, chaired by Kshitij Chand Yogi, the commission was set up in 1951, will be rendered as India, Finance within bracket Commission within second bracket 1951 within third bracket Chairman underline colon Kshitij Chandra Yogi. Near sovereign bodies will be rendered as follows. For example, United Nations Organization Security Council will be rendered as United Nations within bracket dash S Organization, Security within bracket Council. United Nations Secretary General will be rendered as United Nations, Secretary General within bracket UTHANT. Quasi-government will be rendered as Bangalore within bracket city, engineering department. Administrator of Jaipur city will be rendered as Jaipur within bracket city, administrator within bracket name of the administration, that is A.K. Jain. Institutions will be rendered as follows. Chamber of Commerce and the name of the president is R.K. Bajaj will be rendered as Commerce Chamber of dash, President within bracket R.K. Bajaj. Asian Development Bank and its Board of Governors will be rendered as Asia within bracket dash and Development Bank bracket close, Governor within second bracket Board of dash S. Conferences will be rendered in the following manner. All India Library Conference held at Bhubaneswar in 1975 and its organizing committee will be rendered as Library within bracket All India dash Conference within second bracket Bhubaneswar within third bracket 1975, organizing within bracket committee. Seventh is title as heading. General bibliographical works and encyclopedias of general science, useful arts, social sciences, etc. are entered under title. Entry element will be the earliest of the following. First, word or word group indicating a subject for the purview of the document. Second, word or word group indicating class of persons for the purview of the document. Third, fanciful word or word group. Fourth, title as a whole. In rendering, first two words will be in capitals. Remaining words group will be secondary element. Use of dash will indicate the blank space of entry element as per rule. For example, Encyclopedia of Social Sciences will be rendered as Social Sciences within bracket Encyclopedia dash. American Man of Science will be rendered as Science within bracket American Man of dash. Encyclopedia Britannica will be entered as Encyclopedia within bracket Britannica. Who's Who in America will be rendered as America within bracket Who Was Who in dash. Relation between canon of recall value and other canons. First is relation with canon of ascertainability. Recall value should only be searched in the term used on the title page or overflow pages. So canon of ascertainability will request the publishing word to give the entry word or name of personal or corporate author in deeper impression. Canon of prepotence. It means relation of canon of recall value with canon of prepotence. Both the canons, canon of recall value and canon of prepotence, seem common, but there are slight differences between them. Canon of prepotence is primarily concerned with the arrangement of entries among the various entries. Canon of recall value is concerned with the finding out of the entry element to be used in the heading with the highest recall value. Canon of prepotence is satisfied in CCC by using call number in the leading section, while recall deals mainly with the alphabetical part of the catalog. Canon of individualization and canon of recall value. Individualization is to resolve homonym. Its sway is over the heading section of the entries, may be person, geographical entity, corporate bodies, etc. While recall has its sway over the names of persons and corporate bodies having multi-worded names. Individualization does not make any distinction on the basis of the number of words of an entry, while recall value is only applicable if it is a multi-worded entry. The duty of recall is over with the selection of the term having highest recall value, and canon of individualization individualizes that term with the other headings. For example, All India Board of Adult Education and National Council of Adult Education. Relation between canon of recall value and canon of context. According to canon of context, with the change in the mode of book production, the rules will be amended. Organization of libraries and library services. The canon of recall value has emerged due to this change in the practice and to remember the multiplicity of learned bodies and readers' capacity. Relation between canon of sort heading and canon of recall value. Canon of sort heading see that all the sort approaches of the readers are served by the catalog, where canon of recall value approaches those headings which is easy to remember for a reader. Both the canons and both are the instruments in the hands of the catalog for making the journey of the readers through the library catalog speedy, smooth, and pleasant one. General laws of cataloging. There are following 4 general laws of cataloging. First is laws of interpretation. Second is law of impartiality. Third is law of symmetry. Fourth is law of parsimony. General laws of cataloging. There are following 4 general laws of cataloging. First is laws of interpretation. Second is law of impartiality. Third is law of symmetry. Fourth is law of parsimony. First, laws of interpretation. CCC define laws of interpretation as the well-known principles of interpretation, such as 1008 principles of interpretation listed in the Nyaya Kosh. Implications of laws of interpretation. In the situation of conflict between two canons or rules, it should be resolved with the help of this canon. If a document cannot be catalogued under any existing rule, the solution may be sought after the fresh interpretation of rules or necessary amendment should be made in the code. The second law is law of impartiality. This law prescribes that between two or more claimants, say for use as heading, the preference of anyone should be made only on sufficient grounds and not arbitrarily. Implications of this law: for books written by two joint authors, both the authors have an equal right for being chosen as a heading. For a book having alternative title entry is prepared. In the same manner, in case of multiplicity of series, this law directs that all series should get equal right for being given as a series. Third law is law of symmetry. This law prescribes that if two entities or situations which admit of being regarded as a symmetrical counterparts of each other, if one of the entities or the situation is given weight in any particular context, the other entity or solution should also be given a corresponding weight. Implications of this law: for books of two joint authors, both the names are used in heading section. As a result of this law, two book index entries are to be prepared. In the first book index entry, first author will come first and second author will precede it. In second book index entry, their names will be reversed. Law of parsimony. This law prescribes that between two or more possible alternative rules bearing on a particular phenomena, the one leading to overall economy of manpower, material, money, and time considered together with proper weightage is to be preferred. Implication of this law: this law demands economy and saving in the library practices. It functions just like a finance secretary. This law stresses that in open access library, as readers are free to refer the books personally, there is no need of giving information about the physical description of the book and imprint information in the catalog entries. Cross-reference index entries are the creation of compromise between law of parsimony and canon of sort heading. Principles of cataloging. There are following four principles of cataloging. First one is principle of local variation. Second is principle of osmosis. Third is principle of unity of idea. Fourth is principle of probability. Principles of cataloging. There are following four principles of cataloging. First one is principle of local variation. Second is principle of osmosis. Third is principle of unity of idea. Fourth is principle of probability. First is principle of local variation. This principle prescribes no code can function successfully on the international level without any provision of local consideration. There should be clear instructions in international catalog code that what factor will be tackled by a national catalog code. In the same way, national catalog code should mention the preview of local catalog code or linguistic catalog code. Second is principle of osmosis. Osmosis means living with the present. This principle of osmosis means when a change in a catalog code or in the scheme of classification becomes necessary in deference to the canon of context, that should be adopted and implemented. Third one is principle of unity of idea. A catalog code should deal with the following elements. First one is definition of cataloging terms. Second is interpretation of cataloging terms in different contexts. Third is choice of information for a section of an entry. Fourth is rendering of it. And fifth is style of recording it. This principle prescribes that no rule in a catalog code should deal with more than one of the elements mentioned above in respect of any problem. Principle of unity of idea is a basic principle which should guide the work of formulation of the rules of a catalog code. Principle of probability. The principle was introduced by Ranganathan in 1969. This principle prescribes that making the word belonging to the more numerous group of entry increase the probability for satisfying the canon of prepotence. Thus, this principle indicates that a word belonging to more numerous group, if used as entry element, has a greater probability for satisfying the canon of prepotence. So, students, let us summarize what we have learnt in this module. We have studied the definition, need, and application of canon of recall value. We have also learnt relation between canon of recall value and other canons such as canon of ascertainability, canon of prepotence, canon of individualization, canon of context, and canon of sort heading. In addition, we have also studied general laws of cataloging, that is, laws of interpretation, law of impartiality, law of symmetry, and law of parsimony, and 4 principles of cataloging, that is, principle of local variation, principle of osmosis, principle of unity of idea, and principle of probability. Thank you.